It is preview time. Anthony Hernandez, Roman Dolidze, the official preview show. Here we go. But hey, it's your boy DHP, the realest and baddest MMA podcast in the world. And this is my official preview show for Anthony Hernandez and Roman Dolidze. I'm doing it one day early just so I can do, content for one championship. I like to do, every now and then I like to do one championship Fridays. So this is one of these weeks where I'm going to do it on Friday. So the preview show is going up on a Thursday night. But anyway, this right here, this is a pretty good card to lead up to 319. So I'm gonna go ahead and list off, the main card, and we're gonna talk about the analysis for some of these fights. So Roman Dolidze, Anthony Hernandez, headlining main event. Steve Erzag versus Odie Osborne. Co-main, Lasman Lucino versus Angela Hill. Andre Philly, Christian Rodriguez, Miles John, Gene Matsumoto, Eric Anders, Kristen Leroy Duncan, and that's the main card right there. On to the main event, Roman Dolidze and Anthony Hernandez. Now y'all know I've been making videos about these two the past 2 days. Instagram, y'all got one, narrative of Anthony Hernandez. YouTube, y'all had another narrative perspective with Roman Dolidze. With this fight right here, I was thinking about it because I'm like, low key, like on a perfect story write up, you would want to see Roman Dolidze win this fight, but I don't. The way these two match up their styles, I feel like Anthony Hernandez grappling and wrestling would be too much for Roman Dolidze. And Anthony Hernandez, he is no slouch on the feet, but on the ground wise, I feel like his wrestling prowess and the way he grapples is going to be too much for Roman Dolidze. Unless Roman can stop the takedowns, I honestly don't see how he beats Anthony Hernandez. He's going to have to keep the fight standing because Roman, to me, has the power advantage in this fight. So I feel like if he catch Anthony Hernandez on the feet, he could finish Anthony Hernandez. But Anthony is pretty durable, but Roman has some good power. But overall, I do feel Anthony Hernandez grappling is just going to be. I don't feel like Roman can stop Anthony's grappling. And Anthony, he do got that because he is Mexican, so it's automatically I'm gonna compare him to him. But Anthony Hernandez low key got some Cain Velasquez in him. The way they grapple and the way they just keep coming forward. Like, it's not even on some Kobe Covington shit. It's like Anthony do reminds me like a middleweight version of Cain Velasquez. Just how they go about and the cardio. They just keep coming and coming and coming. I will say Anthony for Roman, because Roman is a big guy and he should be the more taller, the more bigger as far as body shape and physique goes. He should be the more bigger fighter going into this fight. Anthony Hernandez, he cannot afford to give up his back. Like how he did with Brendan Allen, Anthony Hernandez cannot afford to give up his back on Roman Dolidze. Because whether or not we think, in my opinion, Anthony should be capable on the ground against Roman, Roman is more than capable of throwing down some heavy ground and pound damage. So I will add that to the equation. Anthony, he cannot do that dumb shit he did against. Hey, you, come on now, doing this preview show. But yeah, he can't do that dumb shit he did against Brendan Allen, because he could potentially either get submitted or TKO. But I mean, this should be a good fight. I am picking Anthony Hernandez to win in a 5-round decision, but this should be a good fight. Roman, the thing about Roman is that he's a monster, but I feel like his technique, and if you break it down on the category of how crisp and technically sound he is, I do feel like he's a little bit sloppy. And being sloppy like that will get you caught up with somebody like Anthony Hernandez just because they like to take the fight to the ground. You can't be super sloppy with somebody who like to take the fight to the ground, because any transition, any crazy transition, they more times than not, at least 7 times out of 10, the more dominant grappler based fighter always end up on top of the transition because they know how to just to keep people on the ground. And I feel like Anthony Hernandez, he's one of those where you can't slip up. Now that last fight he had with Brendan Allen, that was like the perfect mano y mano because they both are heavy into the ground. So that's why we saw like majority of the reversals between them two. That's why we saw what we saw. But this should be a banger of a fight. Looking at this fight card, other than the Andre Fili fight, I expect Roman Dolidze and Anthony Hernandez to be fight or night. But overall, Anthony, he's going to be too much. He's going to be too much for Roman Dolidze unless Roman can keep the fight standing and he just started piecing Anthony up. Yeah, so I got Anthony Hernandez winning this fight and continuing on progressing through the middleweight division as we could potentially get some more good matchups with Anthony Hernandez because we need some more of what we saw with him and Brendan Allen. So on to the co-main event. Steve Erzag is going up. He's going up to fight Odie Osborne. I'm interested to see how Steve is going up to this weight class to see if he can keep that same speed and level of intensity he had at flyweight. Steve is actually a pretty explosive counterpuncher. It's just at flyweight he just ran up to fighters that are, unfortunately faster than him. But this is an interesting matchup because Odie Osborne ain't no slouch. He ain't no slouch. And Steve Erzag, he needs a bounce back. So I actually like this co-main slot for these two. This is a good co-main spot for these two. Odie Osborne, Odie, he's pretty dope, but oh man, it's like I can see how he can be one of the top 10 contenders, but he just for some reason he don't show up when he need to show up. So I'm gonna say Odie Osborne, but I would not be surprised if Steve Erzag he ends up being the fastest striker, and then every time Odie tries to come in, Steve is just going to counter him to death, and not only counter him to death, but he's going to be the first one to get off his strikes, being on the offense. If the fight goes to the ground, Odie for sure. But standing up wise, if the fight stands on the feet, yeah, Steve Erzag, Odie Osborne could be in trouble with Steve Erzag. So I'm gonna take. At the end of the day, I'm gonna take Odie Osborne. I'm gonna take Odie Osborne because he has to get it done. On to the women's fight: Lasmin Rusino and Angela Hill. You want to talk about a bounce back? Lasmin definitely needs a bounce back from that ass whoop that she took in her last fight. So more than anybody on this card that needs a bounce back is Lasmin. Angela Hill, she's still a good quality opponent, but her time is pretty much up for real. In my opinion, her time is up. And like I said, I really don't pay attention to women's MMA like that, but I paid attention to Angela Hill throughout her whole career. So I know what she's like, and I still continue to watch her fights. Angela, at this point, she's like hot and cold, but Angela Hill is not the same Angela Hill as she was like 4, 5, 6 years ago. You know what I mean? So Lasmin, I would not be surprised if Angela pieced up Lasmin because Angela is a great boxer. She's a great women's boxer for the UFC. So I would not be surprised if she pieces up Lasmin, but Lasmin, she needs to bounce back because that ass whooping she took her last fight, that was crazy. So I'm gonna put Lasman in a bounce back win. I'm gonna say 3-round decision. Tell you the truth, I really only got, from my analysis, I really only got like 2 finishes. I want to check the prelim card out after this. Andre Fili and Christian Rodriguez. Like I said, if it's not Roman Dolidze, Anthony Hernandez, hey, y'all stop it now. What y'all doing over there? It's Lord Jesus, have mercy. These cats, boy. It's definitely Andre and Christian Rodriguez. I expect this fight not to go to the judges. Somebody gonna get knocked out. Somebody is gonna get knocked out. Christian is a monster, and we all know about Andre Fili. I hope that, just not to be biased, but I need to see Andre Fili up there in the top rankings. I need to see him in the top rankings because he is like, to me, he is like the Cody Garbrandt of featherweight. He really is. So I'm gonna say Andre Fili in the 2nd round knockout, but Christian Rodriguez, he's a beast. So don't be surprised if he ended up winning this fight. But Andre, we gotta get it done. It's now or never. You've been in the UFC for a cool minute. At this point, you is one of the veteran OGs of the sport. But for one last ride, whatever you got left, I need to see you up there in the top rankings. Because you're just too good and too entertaining not to be in the top rankings, getting the best possible matchups as possible. So I'm going to say Andre Fili, 2nd round knockout. So we go to bantamweight, Miles Johns and Gene Matsumoto. Interesting matchup, but I feel Gene, he should take this. And then we go to Eric Anders and Christian Leroy Duncan. Another good matchup. These are pretty solid matchups. Like I said in the beginning, this card right here, overall, good, decent card to lead up to 319. Eric Anders and Christian Leroy Duncan. This is a good fight. I do feel like Christian is the better fighter overall, whether it's the feet or on the ground. But Eric Anders is definitely the much more better athlete. But Christian Leroy, he should win this fight. He has too much skill and technique to lose to somebody like, even if Eric is the better athlete, Christian has too much in the toolbox to lose to somebody like Eric Anders. So I'm gonna take Christian Leroy Duncan. But let me go to the prelims, see what's on the prelims. You got Julius Walker, Rafael, then you got Jocelyn Edwards. Oh, you got Cody Brundage. You got main man Cody Brundage. He needs, yeah. So, some of the fighters I don't know in the prelims, but some of the fighters I do know. Like, I know Julius Walker, Cody Brundage. So, this is pretty a decent card, but big picture scale wise, Roman Dolidze, Anthony Hernandez, honestly, and going back to my video about the Sean Strickland situation, this low-key is a big marquee matchup, because whoever wins this fight definitely going to position themselves where they are automatically going to be inside the top 10, I believe. But they're going to position themselves to be at least one fight away from getting the actual title shot, especially with the way shit going right now with Sean. Then you got Izzy, Robert Whittaker, he's sliding back. So yeah, it's the way middleweight is shaking up right now. You have Nazaddin and K.O. Borrello. Then you got RDR sitting there. So now you got this matchup. But later on, we got MVP and Jared Cannonier. But I don't expect them to be anywhere near title relevancy. So it's really on Roman Dolidze, Anthony Hernandez, for real. If anything, if Cannonier wins, then maybe, but I feel like if Cannonier wins, he's gonna get somebody like an Izzy again. He could run the rematch back with Izzy again potentially, but I do feel like this overall, big picture wise, Roman Dolidze and Anthony Hernandez has some big implications on where they're going to be positioned at going forward to title relevancy. So Anthony Hernandez, he should. It's about like 60-40 to me. It's not like a clear cut like Anthony Hernandez is going to dominate Roman Dolidze. But Anthony, he should take it though. But yeah, man, that is my preview analysis for the fight night this weekend. We got basically 2 more sleeps until it's fight night, and then we on to 319. So yeah, man, until my video Friday, which YouTube, y'all gonna get this video Friday morning. Instagram, I'm gonna upload this right now so we can go ahead and do the one championship reactions. But YouTube, y'all gonna get this Friday morning. But anyway, until my next video, I'ma holler at y'all niggas later, man.